What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thrift here. Today I just thought we would talk about the Shaden Shiru class and some of the updates that we did experience about a month ago. I'm just finally getting back around to really leveling up a Shaden again. I accidentally deleted my Shaden from the previous video, so I had to make it all brand new and start from level 1 again. But we had a lot of great conversation both in the comment section of that video, but also on a lot of Discords where a lot of other players were discussing with me just exactly how they were playing. And I find a lot of the things that they suggested and said to be very constructive for this class, and I've utilized that in this iteration of my build. So I'm excited to show you what exactly am I using for the Shaden class today. I am still using a 15 card deck, and I do believe that this is the optimized way to play a 15 card deck because there was a change to a couple rings. They were the 12 deck rings. I have some here. These 12 deck rings, they used to provide a lot more bonuses. I do have a video going over these changes that happened. So you're not really running any of these 12 deck rings anymore. So in replacement of that, they did update this ring, the Cutting Ring, to be a 15 card deck requirement that gives you 30% health to your hero. And this is massive because paired with the Steel Ring that was already giving us 20% health to our hero, we're essentially getting 50% bonus health of whatever number is displayed here in our UI. So in this case, I'm getting about 950 extra health. I'm going into fights with about 2800 health, and that is really going to improve the damage that we are doing with Shaden alignment. The other big change that I did make, I am using Shaden Archer now. In the previous video, I had been using Shaden Recovery with Shaden alignment. I really think for almost all content, Shaden Archer definitely makes more sense. It allows for a lot more flexibility and versatility with your Archer spells, and it allows you to escape, so you shouldn't have to heal so much with Shaden Recovery because you should be able to bounce away from enemies and avoid a lot of attacks. And I agree with it. I've been playing it a lot and I really enjoy Shaden Archer now. I do believe there still is a case to be made for Shaden Recovery, especially when you are doing extremely high level content with a team and maybe alongside a Brooch or Monarch enemy. I do believe that Shaden is valuable to keeping your allies healed up so they can survive, especially in group content. Those elites, they go every single turn. Being able to heal someone, 400 or 500 health, maybe even 1000 health, depending on how many teleports you can do, this is extremely valuable. So I wouldn't say just take these two. However, if you are leveling up and playing by yourself, Shaden alignment at level 15, going into Shaden Archer at level 30 is a really good move for solo content and group content. Once you get into the really high levels of challenging difficulty content, you could go alignment with Recovery and you can test it at that point. Other than that, we are using effectively the same deck. I did swap out some stuff in the past example of this build. I was using Divine Skypoint. I was using really high cost cards. And I was just using them because he did a lot of damage. It didn't really fit the build, and after a lot of conversation, I agree with that. So I've replaced a couple of those cards with just the cheapest cards we can get into the deck. These both give 1 reserve AP back, so these are effectively 1 AP spells. Iridescent Point is really nice since it can push things or push you into line with enemies. And then Afflicting Arrow, it's a 1 AP card. So we're basically just limiting the amount of AP we're using on non-teleport spells with these two. And I'm running basically the same deck. We're running all 4 Shuriken cards. We're running all 4 Archer cards of the 4 elements. And then we're running, some traditional class and character teleport cards. We have Escape to teleport, Shaden Alienation to draw a spell, and then this combos to give us an Archer card to teleport, Shaden Round Trip, so we can teleport 2 cells, so teleport twice, Shaden Transfer, so we can once again teleport, and then Ataraxia to draw some extra cards. I don't use this often, however, this is nice. It's a 2 AP card that can trigger some of your combos, right? Nebulous Shuriken can trigger combo to teleport your target, explosion damage on Burning Shuriken, heals on Frozen Shuriken, and then if you are using Alienation, you can draw an extra spell and combo into Archer. So it's one of these 3 2 AP cards that we have that can start a combo for anything else. As for the equipment, we kind of went over it. We're using 3 of the 4 same rings as the previous build: Jelly Ring, No Prob Ring, and Steel Ring, and then replacing the 12 card deck ring with the 15 card deck cut-in ring to give us extra health so our teleports do more damage. The only other update I have is the Marble Band. In the last video, I mentioned getting the -1 AP to the cost of rapid repositioning. I highly recommend getting the +1 cell to rapid repositioning. This will allow you to move 2 cells. You can jump past something or around an enemy so you can hit them again. It's very important to get this. So on your Marble Band, you should be increasing improved effect and getting that rapid repositioning increase in cells. And for the companions, we're using pretty much the same ones. Little Thorn is still a staple in this build. Decrepit Champion is still another staple to this build. I did opt into just using some cheap birds now that I have their additional effect. Tika is drawing 1 spell, and then Yaki is giving us 1 reserve action point. These are nice just because it can really keep up the tempo with the build. I really like Yaki because it allows me to basically bank on having extra AP for the turn. In the case of using Frozen Shuriken, if I ever have a hand and I have a few teleport cards, I can always use Frozen Shuriken, summon Yaki, and basically get 1 reserve AP back, which is effectively cutting the cost of this card by another 1 AP. I really like this card. But yeah, basically, in all honesty, Decrepit Champion is probably the most important one, and you can play around with your other companions for your deck. And here's some example gameplay of Shaden now that we're using Super Archer, and we do have the Shaden damage whenever we teleport. So my goal is to always hit as many enemies as I can that are linear to my character. So my goal is really going to be to get into any of these cells here. So I'm hitting about 3 to 4 enemies each time. So I'll use a card that will give me Archer, so I can then use Super Archer to get to this cell here. Or I guess you could go to this cell either or. We'll teleport here. I'll go ahead and use Shaden Alienation to draw a card and get another Archer. I'll run up here. I'll go ahead and attack here. I'll go ahead and use Super Archer to reduce the cost of my next card I play. Then I'll teleport in for free. I still have 3 AP, and I'm going to be saving 2 AP together. I want to make sure I can Archer to a corner to keep myself safe. So I'll go ahead and use Escape Now to teleport to a wall so I can Super Archer. And then I'll go ahead, finish with this card to get Archer, and then I'll use Super Archer to get into this corner to avoid as much damage as I can. 2 enemies will hit me here, but I'm avoiding up to 3 other enemies' attacks. So once again, I'm just looking at my turn, seeing where I can hit the most enemies. I have a lot of options here to hit a lot of creatures, but once again, I could hit 4 if I can get into this cross. So I'll run here. I'll break this shield right now with the weakest attack that I have, which is my normal. And now because my Marble Band is increased to teleport 2 cells with the repositioning skill, I can jump right in the middle, hit all 4. I can then decide what I want to do. I'll go ahead and I have 6 AP. I can reduce 1, another 1. So I have 8 AP, so I can use either of these skills. I'll go ahead and use both of the skills. I'll use my Archer skill to get here. I'm going to use my reserve AP. I'm going to jump back into the middle here just to hit all 4. I should be taking out a couple creatures this turn. And then I'll just use my cheap 1 AP card to get a reserve AP back. So here I am. I'm looking at some high AP cards. I do have 8 AP. If I play Frozen Shuriken, I'm going to reduce the cost of the next card by 4. I would only be able to play Shaden Transfer in this case. However, because I know that I can get Yaki summoned because of the 2 AP, I can very easily use this card right now to jump to where I want to and hit a couple creatures. And then I can very easily bring out Yaki. And then this will allow me enough reserve AP to play Nebulous Shuriken and get the teleport off. So just some quick gameplay of my thoughts when I go into a combat and some of the small combos I can use involving my spells and the Shaden passive to reduce AP, plus companions. This class is really fun. There's a lot of ways you can play it. So if you have any more suggestions about this class, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear how you are enjoying the Shaden Shiru class. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next video real soon.